then repost it.
You know something funny? You and I made those meeting agendas at the same time.
Really?
Yeah, I looked at that one because I would copy. I had mine on my clipboard to paste in, and I went, "This isn't the one I opened." Um, so I just deleted it. But yeah, at 9:51 we both, or 9:51 my time, we both were working on that.
Wonderful. Is there anything that mine has or your has that wasn't any other?
No, you just started filling it out, as far as I can tell. Did you use the template?
I did, yeah. I removed some sections and just filled some stuff out.
Yeah, perfectly fine.
Okay. I'll throw it in the, or I guess doesn't have access. If you need access to the agenda, you need to have a AutoGPT email, right, Nick?
Yep. And send me your info, and I will set it up right now.
Yeah, I think Fox was asking.
Yeah, Fox, send me your stuff, and I'll get it set up right now. I've looked into a couple ways to not need an email for that, but all of them basically include just publishing our Notion publicly,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't know how down we are for that.
Right. All right. We got a good amount of audience joining. For everyone joining, this is a meeting to discuss. We have a weekly meeting where we talk about progress regarding anything AutoGPT. So there's a few different initiatives that we're working on. We have an agenda we're looking at, but the kind of main things are, how is AutoGPT progressing? How is the kind of stuff around it progressing? And yeah, so happy to kick it off. Is there anyone we're waiting on?
Is Put here? Yeah.
Puts is yes.
Okay, cool. Then yeah, let's just get started.
Craig is here.
Excellent.
All right.
Great to see so many people here. Welcome, everyone.
Yes.
Hey,
I guess
for everyone, this
step
is,
one.
I mean, this is Toren. He's the founder of AutoGPT. I don't think everyone him has talked to him and has the opportunity to hear what he has to say about the project, right? I don't know, maybe, well, I guess let's continue like we do usually, but I'm sure they would love to know more about you, Toren.
Yes, I'm sure. I'm sure we'll get a chance to do that. But yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's really
I
great to
think
see how many people here.
yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. I think it'd be great for Torn to say a piece. We have a planned time for unplanned questions, so I think it'd be great if we have some audience interaction there. Maybe Torn, you could start off with I think this is many of the audience members' first time kind of seeing you. But for now, the agenda we have, we start with important announcements, then we go into short updates, and then we kind of have the planned and unplanned time. So start off. Anyone have any important updates that you think we should start with? All right, great. Let's move on to short updates then. First thing is AutoGPT operations. So this question is towards Luke and Puts mainly, who've been kind of the main contributors on the AutoGPT code base around like the progress and the release.
I see Luke isn't here. Honestly, I haven't really been bothering with the release because I'm just like full-time working on pretty much a revamp of the project itself, writing, pushing code. I think Luke will join later and may be able to give an update on the release. If anything, I could say that don't really bother with the current releases because yeah, sure, there will be some fixes in there, um, but the real exciting stuff is yet to come. So um, once we have real big releases to share, we'll definitely give it a bit more noise than you were accustomed to for the current releases.
Can you give us a sneak peek of what's currently being worked on?
Um, I mean, I'm tempted to say everything, but basically, I'm my main focus right now is doing a revamp of the way the agent can interact with the user. So I'm kind of trying to build an interface for that, because once we have that interface, we can also do agent to agent communication by making like adapter modules. Um, Secondly, I am working on a complete revamp of the prompting mechanisms we have. So new prompts, better structure, better explained commands and actions, and parts of the prompt. Um, Context management. So basically, these are dynamic pieces of well, you could call it managed memory. I think that's a bit unfair, but basically, instead of saying, okay, read this file, and it would just splurge all of the content into the message history, um, I think a cleaner approach is to say, okay, open this file, and it will just add the file to the current context, and the application will make sure that the latest content of the file is always in the prompt. And you can do this with other stuff than files as well. So basically, it could allow for better context management before we actually get to adding vectorized memory.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. Um, I guess if no one has anything to add specifically on the AutoGPT end, we have another item that talks about the AutoGPT email. So I'm assuming that's Nick.
You bet. This is mostly for maintainers and contributors. For your AutoGPT access stuff, make sure you have your email. Fox reminded me that I hadn't put it in the agenda this week. So if you need access to our Notion, Sentry, email, all that fun stuff, reach out. And then Jojo, we'll have a time at the end of the end of this for questions like that. So save it till then. So hit it.
Great. Is there anything else anyone wants to bring up regarding AutoGPT operations? I'll pause for like 5 seconds. All right. If not, let's move on to research. For those of you that don't know, there's currently a research paper in the works with a couple researchers from Northeastern and Microsoft Research, kind of centered around agent improvement and benchmarking and the kind of safety around that. So unfortunately, Douglas did not have the time to continue with the project. So he has stepped offboarded. So if anyone is interested in working on surrounding safety or surrounding agent improvement and becoming a published software, hit me up. We're looking for a specific set of skills. So let me know. In terms of the specific work that's been done, a lot of it is around getting the first release of the paper done, which is more focused towards validating the benchmark and kind of getting results around the different agents. So I've been working on kind of a paper front end for the paper to like display the results and essentially easily kind of display the reports. By next week, we kind of hope to have the V1 of the paper done, the results section done, including I think Craig wrote out kind of a section of like validating all of the different benchmark sections. So that's going to be in the paper as well. So that's kind of the research update. I don't know if Craig or Ruwan, if there's anything else you guys want to add.
No, not on the research. You summarize it well.
Great. Um, moving on to more general development. The first item here is the Forge. Craig, can you give like a quick overview of the Forge and then kind of give an update on there?
Yeah, sure. So the Forge is kind of our agent stem cell we're creating. And the idea here is that it's going to allow people to go and create agents very easily by taking care of everything that isn't the actual agent logic. And to that end, we're starting off by making sure we're implementing the agent protocol and making sure the agent protocol is sufficient for building an agent. And so this week, the work has been around improving the agent protocol so we have everything we're going to need to be able to build agents, and likewise updating the Forge in line with the updates to the agent protocol. Wayne has created this amazing Postman. Is it Postman? Yeah, Postman test suite for testing compliance with the agent protocol. And so we've been running that against the Forge, updating a branch of that for version 4 of the protocol, and just working our way through that as fast as we can.
Yeah, a little additional info on that. We've made a ton of requests to change the protocol as part of this process. And I just want to congratulate the team on all the effort we're doing to improve not only our tooling, but the community's tooling as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. There's been a lot of work on that.
Let's talk more about the agent protocol for you guys in the call and girls. What does it solve? Huh? Why do we want to protocol? That's not fun. That doesn't sound fun. Not to me at all. So let's talk about the problem. We all build backends of agents where you ask the agent to do something, then it comes back to you, and sometimes it's even interactive. AutoGPT is pretty interactive. It comes back to you, and you can say yes, etc. And so people build UIs, so GUI, web application on top of these agents, and everyone is building their specific web app for the agent that they're building. Which is a bit of a shame because we're gonna have like 15 GUI or 15 different agents. What if we could standardize the way we communicate to an agent? This way, we can have one GUI and maybe other GUIs that people build on top of, and we can easily call all of these agents. This is also going to help us use agent as tool more effectively. Because do you imagine if you have to call, let's say, a GPT engineer and speak one language to it? Then you have to call, I don't know if some of you know Baby AGI, Mini AGI, Super AGI. They all speak different languages. How do we talk to them? We should unite as open source project so we can talk to one another, right? So that's the attempt at this agent protocol. I'll drop a link. It's a bit technical. It's basically a REST API. Okay, we want to support WebSocket and GraphQL as well. Okay, we never said that it will only be REST. It needs to be way more than that. And we wanted to make it as simple as possible and as unopinionated as possible. We will provide a testing suite. It's already there, but I want to make it better, that you can do step by step. You can implement this protocol yourself. And we will promote and talk about the agents that support it, and invite the community to start using these agents. That's it.
Thank you, Wayne. The other thing I would add is that this isn't just an AutoGPT project. This is a collaboration between some of the biggest players in the space, including Sean, who's kind of hosting the AI Engineer Conference, and E2B, and us, and a couple of the other agents that have integrated it. So it's kind of like, if you know the Linux Foundation, it's kind of just like a setup and a guideline with an open source kind of like, everyone needs to integrate this because the industry will be better off in that way. So, yeah. The next item, is there anything else on Agent Protocol or the Forge that anyone would like to add? All right.
Maybe a really
go ahead.
short update on the agent protocol, because we've been having this back and forth about where to place execution and how to do authentication. I think this is a really good discussion to be having because actually we kind of independently ran into this issue in the past couple days because I think Wayne and Nick ran into this from the angle of how are we going to do safe authentication of actions that the agent wants to do on behalf of the user. I mean, you don't want to just spill your secrets into a void of the unknown. You want to be sure your data is safe. At the same time, um, you want to an agent to be able to do stuff on behalf of you because it makes your life easier. And I was in it from the angle of um, maybe if we introduce some layer of abstraction, then we can outsource execution or build services for this, or um, just make a better defined interface for the agent itself, which is also useful. So I'm right now I'm writing up kind of a counter proposal for how to attack this issue of whether to move execution out of the agent or not, and possibly how to arrange safe and easy authentication for arbitrary services in your agent. I mean, like with AutoGPT right now, if you want to use it and you want to have it access your Twitter or something, you have to generate an API key, and um, yeah, that's the only way you have to put it in some .env file. That's the only way you can authenticate the actions that the agent can take on your behalf. This is got to be safer. It's got to be easier, and ideally we could maybe do this via the agent protocol. But that's an ongoing discussion.
Great. Thank you for that. Time to move on to benchmarks is the next item. I'll just give a quick kind of overview of the benchmarks. One thing we realized at AutoGPT is that we were getting a ton of pull requests and everyone wanted to contribute code and everyone was submitting PRs, but we didn't really know if if the code was actually improving. And we have limited time to be able to test everything, and it's very hard to do it in an automated or objective way. And so we built the benchmark, and there's this whole benchmark kind of initiative to do that, to kind of benchmark things in an objective, automated way, where we currently have AutoGPT integrated, and Super AGI and Baby AGI and Small Developer and Super AGI and some other ones. And again, this is using the agent protocol. So again, all comes back full circle. And in terms of where we're at right now, we have everything built. We have this agent evals repo, which may also be taken by the the agent protocol foundation. At this point, we're kind of polishing things and making sure that the data set we have actually makes sense, and making it easier to interact with. So Marwan can give an update on how the release schedule is going, and the spreadsheet. I'll give you an update on kind of the more code side of things. Right now, we're trying to integrate some of the coding challenges that GPT Engineer had, trying to rework the dependency tree to perfect the data set. And ultimately for the paper as well, and for integrating with the UI, the backend has been being worked on and is pretty much almost done. It's just sitting in a PR to be merged. So that's the update for benchmarking on my end.
Yes, and so last week there was a release. This week the release is going to be done in a few days from now. I didn't do it over the last few days. Luke is going to join the list of agents integrated with the benchmark. Luke is here. Actually, let's make him a speaker as well. Yeah, it's fun. So we need to turn our camera off in order to make someone join. This is very funny. Okay, Luke. There we go.
Excellent.
Not
That's
love
cool.
Discord.
AutoGPT Turbo, Duke. Tell us.
Hi. What do you want to know about it? It's as I said last time, a bunch of experiments around various ways to perhaps improve output. So in this case, with the benchmarks, it's mostly so an update on the prompts. I think there are a couple of ideas around how to split up planning and execution, which are being followed in the main repo. I am personally following this idea that you can do it in one loop. So an agent should be able to plan and execute, and that we can still get good at that. And the idea, if you think about an agent as a mind, you've got one brain, and I'm trying to play with that idea and push it as far as possible. Now, certainly, we'll see what happens. So that's what it is. Let's see where it goes.
Okay, so what you're saying is that your agent is amazing, and that basically it's the future of autonomous agent in the space. Okay, got it. Yes, I agree with that. Let's go for that. Maybe the future ancestor of AGI, right there. But no, okay. Media updates on PolyGPT. What's going on? Because you beat the memory
Hey,
challenge,
yeah,
so
how's it going?
at the next release. At the next release, we expect PolyGPT to score 100 in the memory challenge. Okay. Are we going to expect more? For example, is there some cost reduction?
So yeah, just to give you a quick update on PolyGPT. So after we were able to integrate the benchmarks and also polish a bit the experience of the CLI agent, we decided to participate in the Autonomous Agents Hackathon this weekend. And one of our team members essentially rewrote the entire project to, instead of using pre-existing libraries, it starts with zero knowledge, just with the ability to create functions and execute them. So that has helped us to have a more generic agent, which uses a lot less tokens. And also we are looking forward to integrate like all the wrappers so that it has that knowledge too. But right now it uses like HTTP, and it can write to files. It can use JavaScript code compilation also. So we got it integrated to the benchmarks over the weekend, and I was able to run a CI. However, since it's starting from zero knowledge, it has to create these new functions. So it takes it additional time than other agents would take it to complete a task. So it's timing out. But yeah, I mean, we were able to like build a UI for it, so it's ready to be like used right now, and we just want to see how much of the functionality is still there after the rewrite. And yeah, I mean, we haven't really been able to run all of the benchmarks because of that timeout issue.
That's interesting because, it's not like it's a negative aspect of the agent that it makes that, but it's being disadvantaged. I wonder if have you considered maybe doing something like saving a state of it after it's created like a few functions and having that be the baseline or something like that? I don't really know.
Yeah, exactly. Like we could start with a library of functions that we think are just the baseline. So, write a file, read file, and that stuff. So the ones that the benchmark would need, but we haven't really gotten to save those operations just yet. So we wanted to bring it up first because the issue is not that it's not able to do it, but the issue right now is timeout. So if there's a way to run the CI with extra time, like a handicap or something, or if we can run them locally with no time constraints.
How long
Yeah,
is
that
it? Sorry.
Sorry, how long is it? So, for example, the write to file challenge is taking 60 seconds to time out. There are others that last like maybe 2 minutes. And the agent starts by looking into its functions, and then, okay, I don't have the function, so I have to create it. So that takes it over a minute. But after it has created it, it could reuse it, right? So if it's the same instance, it would just look for it and find it.
So do you imagine like a user using this in the future? Do you imagine them like having the same agent instance forever, and then like the more they use it, the more experienced it gets, or would they be starting from
Yeah.
scratch?
Yeah, so the thing is that now we have these reusable components, which are the functionalities, and creating some sort of marketplace or showcase where you can have all the functions that the agent has been creating and see which one are the most useful, the most successful functions, and then install that. Also, since it's compiling, how do you say, like it we built it so that it is a agent protocol agent, right? So we should be able to integrate this to other agents so that they have that functionality of instantiating an Evo Ninja, agent that's able to create that own capability, and then maybe in the future fetch those functionalities on demand.
Mm.
Yes, okay. Looking
Love it.
forward to create a challenge for this type of task. I think I can. I think we can. Here's how you do it. I'm trying to write a file. I'm going to call your agent. I'm expecting it to fail. And then I run some sort of method where I say, hey, agent, improve. And then I call it again, and it succeeds 2 minutes later.
Yeah.
That's the challenge of improvement.
Yeah, interesting.
Wow.
Is
Yeah.
there any reason we couldn't increase the duration locally to see how it works for all these benchmarks, going just for today?
We
Yeah, we've
can.
already
You can
increased them.
you can run benchmarks with like a certain flag to set it to any time.
Okay. Media, do you think you could
Yeah.
benchmark with that and let us know how it goes?
So how would I go about to do that? Just running them locally with a flag.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a --NC flag, which is no cutoff. There's also a
Oh.
--cutoff flag, so that afterwards you can set any timeout you want, like in an integer.
Okay. Cool. I'll definitely take a look at that this week. We'll put a list of all the to-dos before we continue.
Wonderful. I think let's can you throw the spreadsheets in the stage chat, and then kind of quickly give an overview of the spreadsheet, maybe just 1 or 2 minutes.
Benchmark spreadsheet, let's go. Okay, this is the same as last time, but I'm gonna also tell you about what's coming. Okay, do you guys see my screen?
It's
It's not
still
loading.
loading for me.
It's a bit
Yeah.
funky, yeah. A bit funky.
So do you want to just quickly talk about it and post the link in the chat?
Yeah. Let's do that instead. So the benchmark shows a lot of data, and the winner of this week is still Bebot. Bebot is extremely cheap. Bebot is extremely fast. Bebot is very good. Just behind it, actually, AutoGPT, and hopefully, maybe it's gonna beat it with puts next week. Who knows? We have Mini AGI close third, and PolyGPT very close to Mini AGI. I think at the next release, it's possible that PolyGPT becomes third. And we also want to create a targeted challenge, because it's not fair. You're never going to be the best agent if all you're doing is code within our framework, because we only rate the best generalist agent. So it doesn't make sense. So we need to start creating categories. Okay, so you have the link here. Go play with it. This is the release of last week. And if you have new agents, bring it here. We're going to help you integrate it. We're going to promote your agent. If you can follow the agent protocol so that we can easily benchmark you, do it. If you don't, we can still try. It's more work. We need to integrate it more. A call to action for you to tell us about your agent. So we integrate it. Someone just dropped an agent here. It's incredible. Meta introspector. That sounds very scary. But maybe we'll be able to create a challenge around it. So challenges are ways for us to evaluate an agent playing his game. Every agent has games they like to play, right? And so what you want to do is make them play the games they're good at. Meta introspector is good at something. AutoGPT is good at improving. Let's create challenges for that. So this is my second call to action to you. Help us add these challenges so we can highlight your agent at these specific tasks. If you're interested in creating challenges, contact me and Selene. This will also help you show that your agent is good at something specific. We have a lot of expertise creating evals. We call them evals. They're nothing more than tests or challenges to allow us to know or assess an agent's ability to do something that's useful. Okay? That's it.
Wonderful. Thank you for that, Rowan. The last item on this general updates is collaboration. I want to start it off by saying AutoGPT is considering throwing a hackathon, so I'm just floating this idea out there. If any in the audience has any speakers they'd be interested in, or any sponsors that they want to throw our way, again, this is all up in the air. Very, very early days, but just letting you know if there's any particular directions or anything, stay tuned, or stay tuned. The second item on there is amplification. So I just kind of wanted to bring this up, is how can we activate the community more? I wanted to give a shout out to Hall AI and Marwan for being really active on the socials. On Twitter. Twitter's the platform that I use, so I can only really see activity there. I know Puts has been quite active there as well. But if we can all kind of get energy going on Twitter, and we also have an amplifiers channel, so I guess two things there. One, let's try to boost AutoGPT. Let's try to get our Twitters going. If you like make a development upgrade, like anyone in the maintainers, if you get any kind of like build in public kind of thing, we're an open source project, right? And then on the amplifiers point, there is a channel for partners where we post links that we all want to boost. And so if anyone in the chat is would like to be a partner, meaning you're building something like like PolyGPT, like they're a partner, for example, like they're working with their benchmarks, we're interfacing with them and we're benchmarking them, and we're happy to boost any of their posts when they put it in the amplifiers channel. If you're interested, throw something in the chat. We'd be happy to add you, given it makes sense. So I don't know if anyone has any other points for either the hackathon or for amplification. Maybe Torin, you wanted to mention something?
I just put a little vote in the chat there, just to kind of gauge interest in a virtual hackathon around the creation of agents. So if you are interested, just drop a little upvote on that. It'd be great for us to see. It would be very exciting because, like, really, all I want to see, and I think most people here share my sentiment, is for amazing agents to be created. And this is why we're building all of these things, why Selene and Marwan and everyone are building these amazing tools for evaluating agents, putting all this data out there for you to see how agents perform, see what the competition's like and what the current best scores are in each area. We just need to keep pushing those boundaries. And I don't care who does it. Like, go do it. I would be so excited.
Oh.
Wonderful. Yeah, go ahead. Did you want to say something, Juan?
Oh, it's great. Let's do it.
Wonderful. Let's do it. Yeah, it seems like there's excitement for it. There's a lot of upvotes. There's a lot of people who are amazing. Okay. If there's anything else in collaboration, now's the time to talk. I'll pause for 5 seconds. Okay. Last item is visibility. Pretty much this item just means, is there anything you would want people to know about any updates that were not mentioned? So I'll pause for 5 seconds here as well.
I'd just like to add for everyone that when it comes to the agents and services that are kind of only have Linux guys just now, I am finding that you can actually get them going on Windows with WSL2. I have done some guides for some of the agents so far, but I'll get round to Agent Protocol and Postman too.
Wait, I'm not following. How is that related to the agent protocol?
It's Linux guide only just now, is it not? On GitHub.
Oh, sorry, it's my English. I don't understand. You have a very special English that to me, I'm used to like Californian English, and I don't understand.
Sorry, Marwan.
Okay.
I understand the accent. I can say I understand the accent. I'd just like to say I use WSL2 all the time and running the agent protocol and Postman, so there's no issues there. It's basically Linux.
Okay.
Great. Is there anything else on that point? Cool. There's a task review item on here. I don't think I added this. If anyone has a task review item they would like to talk about. Otherwise, we can move on to discussions. One of the discussions we need to talk about is the rearc. I posed the question, are we still...
Yeah, that's me. I was
Oh, yeah.
focused on something, the other stuff. Task review for our team. Did y'all finish your tasks that were assigned last week? Bentley, you talked to Discord, and did we get a resolution for that? Sorry, this is part of the more administrative section. Craig, for the book stuff, did you finish that, or are we just gonna leave that till next week?
I think that's going to be pushed back to next week. I need to chase everyone up on the answer for that.
Fantastic, no worries. I didn't build out a repos explainer. I did start talking to Vlad about the Telegram plugin and Sophie. I have not started on the deployment preview. Scott, do you still need help with headers for OpenAI router?
Yes, I do.
Cool. Message me after this and we'll get it figured out. I haven't bothered Torin about making the Notion public yet because I'm not sure if it's a good idea anymore. Just because having all of our meeting notes publicly accessible doesn't provide a ton of benefit. Right? Like it probably costs us money. So I don't know. I'll look into that a little bit more. Y'all did the release in Bulletin. Code here. We've already talked about that a little bit. Paper draft. Silent, is that still in progress?
Regarding the draft of the paper?
Yeah, it's just a task due by July 27th.
Yeah. I mean, I talked about this in the research section.
Yeah, let me clarify. Can I close the task?
Yeah. Delete the task.
Cool. We already did that. All right, we're good to keep moving. Sorry about this. I just gotta keep our task list small. Otherwise, it's unmanageable.
Wonderful. The other thing is a rearc discussion. I think one thing we should do is consolidate on our messaging regarding the rearc. As far as I know, it's not being worked on as well. The things that will be integrated have been integrated. So just messaging around that, I would propose that in our next release, we say, okay, the rearc has been integrated, and we're moving on. But I guess the kind of main stakeholders that I pose this question to are Puts and Luke.
If we are going to do that, and there's no comments on it, I think it would be beneficial to do some sort of announcement in the sense, like on GitHub, because previously we did a mass comment on every pull request saying we probably won't merge this pull request because of the rearc, and that is still there, and it's still on quite a lot of pull requests. Well, maybe not the most recent one, but it's quite prominent these comments, and they're everywhere. So either we delete them all, or we put another comment on everything. So there's some sort of resolution to that, because otherwise, in 6 months' time, someone's going to go onto a pull request and see that and not realize that, we did an announcement on Discord or something.
Yeah, I guess puts that's up to you. Do you think that'd be worth the time, and how? Yeah, is that? Yeah.
So there's a list of kind of issues that I'm working down, and rearc is on there somewhere, but it's not at the top. Definitely not. Because as I just explained, my priority right now is with fixing the prompting, trying to fix the kind of the interfaces around the agents so we can abstract them, create variations, maybe create expert agents, maybe do some inter-agent communication. Like these are pretty basic things that would solve a lot of issues. And sure, rearc would also solve some issues, but I mean, you cannot design an architecture if you're not sure what the program flow is going to be like. So I'm first working the program flow and then gonna look at rearc again. In the meantime, yeah, still can't guarantee that interfaces will stay the same. So the same still goes for most pull requests. The functionality that PRs are made against is likely to be changed, removed, moved, reintegrated somewhere else in the next few weeks. So on that front, not much is going to change. It's just that the way we're doing rearc has really changed a lot.
Personally, I think we should abandon the terminology rearc and any discussion of it. I think it had its chance, and now really rearc is what you're talking about, Boots, is just normal development of the repo.
But the rearc is a success, actually. Look at Puts, he's going to drop something in a week with all these changes on AutoGPT. This is all we need. We have changed the configuration. We have removed the singleton in the config, right? It's not a singleton anymore. I think the memory is not a singleton anymore. We've done,
Yeah.
we've solved a lot of pain.
I think both of you guys are right. I think let's say rearc is done. It's been a success. The next release, we say these are the things that the rearc has accomplished, and move on from saying we're gonna rearc. I think that's kind of sounds like the consensus, unless anyone has objections.
Yeah,
And we know that the rearc had more stuff. There was an async queue. There was a web server as well. There was other building blocks. We need to reconnect again with these pains before solving them, right? And that's the thing. It was 6 months ago. Is it still relevant, right? And then we start working on this once we think, yeah, we need an async queue. Yeah, we need this. Yeah, we need that. But I think most of our problems will be solved by puts if the next pull request is going to merge.
Wonderful. So I guess the action item here, Nick, if you could add a task and link Luke and puts, I guess just general messaging around rearc for the next release. I guess that would be the task. Right. We have 15 minutes left. Let's quickly do team inventory. I figured this is also an opportunity to do shout outs as well. So if anyone has any comments here, anyone you'd like to shout out, now's the time.
Awesome. We got a new contributor, Archie. Archie, are you here? I don't know. Whoever added Archie, let's go ahead and give a little update on that. If they're here today. I don't think they're here actually. Who added them? Anyway, Archie, glad to have you. Good to see you. Hope to keep hearing from you. For anybody else who wants to contribute, we do a little announcement for you whenever we add your permissions. And say congrats. All the people up on this stage probably didn't get one at this point. So I also want to say congrats to all of you. Thank you for being maintainers. Really appreciate all of you.
Agreed. Yes, absolutely.
And we're always open for more help. So if you got an idea, you can reach out to me. You can reach out to Puts. Sorry, Puts, putting you on the spot there. Reach out to Silent, reach out to Wayne, reach out to Scott or Swifty.
Yeah.
Luke, for example. All of us can help you get integrated. If you got an idea, you wanted to get it in, let's do it.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah. And I also want to
I'll-
encourage people, sorry to interject there, but I also want to encourage people, if you feel like, you have this idea that's so radical that is, we're not going to accept it as a pull request, don't be dejected. Make something and test it against the benchmarks. Like, I want to encourage that too. You don't need to contribute to what we're making. Make something amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
And
I
also,
also want to go ahead. Sorry.
also, if you haven't sent your introduction in the introductions channel, we've put a lot more focus into that recently. So if you're like, hey, I already sent something, and none of y'all know who I am, tell us who you are again. Yeah. We'd love to hear from you.
Yes. I'd like to shout out Bentley. If you see our server, it's looking a lot more clean and beautiful recently. Bentley and I know Ferg as well have been, wonderful in making the server look better. And Bentley right now is also live streaming on YouTube. So huge shout out to Bentley.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Bentley.
Yeah, thanks for doing that. It's very nice when the channels actually fit on your screen.
Wonderful. Any more shout outs? Or I'll pause for 5 seconds. All right. We're on to planned time for unplanned questions and discussions. We have, I guess, actually, before we move on to this, is there anything else we need to discuss that's pertinent? Because what we're moving on to is essentially 3 minutes of unfiltered discussion time. All right, let's do it. So I think Bentley, you have a note here. Wonderful. Yeah, so go do that if you're interested in tester or benchmarks, or I guess you'll send out a message when the FAQ is ready as well, or next item is do we make the amplifiers channel public for all to see and help push? Does whoever put this item want to give a pitch, I guess, or give their thought process?
Okay, make it read-only for the public, because the people that can amplify their messages are either partners, maintainers, but also I guess Catalyst I think is fine. But if it's anyone, we're gonna be flooded with messages, right? It's a bit like the win. You contribute to the ecosystem of agents. You get to go into the amplifiers, right? And you deliver value to people with your news. Well, we want to amplify your news, right? For example, it's AutoGPT with media. It's Helicon, like who's not here. It's a company that helps us with logging. It's Eric from Bbot, right? If he has an announcement around AutoPack, I might actually drop what AutoPack is. It's a very nice tool. It's all these people that build good stuff. They have the ability to promote and amplify their messages. And the little game is you click buttons. You look at the message and you shook, hello, like, repost, boom, 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 and then the message is amplified. Everyone is playing this game, and so we all amplify each other. So to come back to the subject, yeah, let's just make it read-only. Or
Agreed.
other people.
Can we also set it up as a stage, or not stage, what is it called, announcements channel? So I can subscribe to other servers?
Does this is probably a silly question, but if you're subscribed to like one announcement channel on the server, or servers, are they subscribed to like just that announcements channel? Like if we had two, it's separate, is it? Because we don't want to create a new channel and have everyone who's subscribed to our announcement channel also be subscribed to our sort of spam channel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and by the way, on amplifiers, you never put at everyone, and I think we never put at contributor either. It's just like a little light message that will appear, and people they can click on it if they're interested, but they won't be notified if someone sends the message. However, I think we systematically, when we want to amplify the message, we ping my partners. Because it's the deal, you're a partner, you promote each other, you have your messages promoted, but also you promote others' messages if you think it's relevant. We systematically ping maintainers.
I think part of the unspoken agreement is that if you're a partner or a maintainer in the channel, or if you're posting any sort of amplification in the channel, you're also amplifying other people's posts. At the very least, alike. At the very, very least.
Yeah, so you systematically ping those people, but you never ping at everyone, and you never do even at contributor. I think it's too much. At catalysts, let's say no for now, because we have a lot of catalysts that are ping. We can just focus on maintainers and partners that we systematically ping and spam when there is an update. And I want to know when there is something new.
Okay, so I guess the action in there is for Bentley to make the amplifier channel public, but read only to anyone without the catalyst, partner, or maintainer role. Okay,
Yeah.
great. We have 7 minutes left. Want to make sure this ends on time. The last non-questions item we have here is the ILA hackathon. Someone want to speak on that?
The what?
It says, need to go over the ILA hackathon. They asked for SVG files of your logo to go onto their website.
Oh.
Great. So I guess the action in there is just connecting with Torin on the back end.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, moving on to questions.
I have another item, please.
Do it.
if there's anyone who is very experienced with or knows a lot about authentication mechanisms like OAuth or like authenticating local applications from a cloud service, hit me up. I want to know more because, well, I'll post a link in the chat. I just posted a reply on an RFC for the agent protocol, basically exploring a couple options for solving the issue of authenticating actions. And the last bullet point in the post is something I'm fairly sure of, but I'm not the expert in the field of authentication. So if you know the answer, hit me up.
All right, wonderful. Anyone else? Anything else before we move on to the questions? We maybe have time for one or two questions. There's also a share team socials.
I want Torin to speak. Torin.
Yes.
Well, what do you want to know,
Yeah.
Ryan?
I know a lot. How about the Q&As for
Yeah, I
for
can
other
answer some
people, right?
questions. If anyone has any questions, then I can answer them. I may not be the best person to answer it, depending on what it's on, but I'm happy to try.
Yeah, what's your favorite color? I'm joking. Okay, people.
Turquoise.
Turquoise. That's interesting. Every meeting at work we do a Q&A or a icebreaker. And even though I've known these people for forever, it feels like every day, every stand up, we do an icebreaker. And today it was show us something in your room that is interesting to you. No, I'm not saying we have to do that because we do only have 3 minutes left and we should take some community questions, but maybe next time we prep some icebreakers.
Yeah.
It's like idiots and us.
So the only question I have so far is, what is your favorite food? Well, my favorite food is sushi.
Oh. Torin,
Just
so
absolutely.
how did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you feel when like the project started? For the project started in April. How did you mentally, psychologically handle this thing? It's today the 25th open source project, 25th open source project in the world. It's
Honestly,
incredible.
yeah, so it is. It is incredible. I mean, even when GPT-4 came out before I built this, I was like feeling so overwhelmed that I couldn't even focus on one thing because I just saw that there were so many things that were suddenly possible that weren't possible the day before. And it felt like this mad rush to make things. And I like sort of half made 5 different projects at the same time and then made this. And when it like, it was actually the night of my birthday that it started doing something like incredible, which was the programming. And I said to my girlfriend, "Oh yeah, I was gonna go to bed early and not work." And she woke up in the morning and came downstairs, and I was still there at the computer. But I hadn't left because it was just I could just see what it was about to be able to do, and I was posting on Twitter, and yeah, and it was the day after that that it all went crazy. So yeah.
That's
Oh,
amazing.
question from
I think
Scott.
we have one question left. I think
Yeah.
let's wrap up on that question. If anyone in the audience has questions you feel were unanswered, feel free to message anyone you think would be good to answer that in the chat, or just throw it in the general or help channel. Other than that, let's cap it off with Soren talking about where he sees AutoGPT 3 years from now.
Oh, such a good question, but it's also so difficult to answer because 3 years is such a long time scale in the AI space. I think, I see a future where the future of work where we don't have to spend time on mundane, boring things that, you weren't hired to do, you didn't take your job to do, you're not passionate about, and have AutoGPTs automate this kind of thing for you, where you're in command, you can, anyone has access to it, and you can carry out as many things as you want, condense your day's work down into an hour, and either have 10 times the output or work a tenth of the amount, depending on, who you are and what motivates you. And focus on that juicy 10%, which is why you got into a field, and you probably don't get to spend enough time doing it.
Amazing. All right. We are at time. Thank you for everyone's time. Thank you, Torn, for answering the questions. I'm going to throw the Twitters of everyone in the chat. I think there's a few that we're missing. I didn't make this list, so feel free to follow anyone that you would want to keep up. And thank you for coming, everyone.
Yeah, thank you everyone for coming. All right.